It's not for me to offer advice to Keir on how to stay in power, but it is painful to watch the incompetence and ineptitude with which this government is running a resounding majority government. This isn't a hung parliament. This is owned by the Labour Party. They could pass anything. They could do anything. But what they've chosen to do is ignore manifesto pledges, introduce raft of legislation that was never mentioned at any point, like ID, demonise members of the public for sharing any form of concern about the globalisation project, and give oxygen to the Reform Party. How many times do Labour stand up and not just speak about a party with MPs I can count on one hand, but actually demonise and attack and slander them? They're everything from kiddie fiddlers to fascists. Who does he have in his parliamentary machine marketing and spinning his government by attacking a party with so few MPs? After 14 years of planning, Labour seemed to be coming in with a secret plan they weren't going to tell us about in case it lost them the election. But it's starting to look like they came in with no plan at all, that their Chancellor doesn't understand economics, that their Foreign Minister didn't understand foreign affairs, but we already knew that. Apparently their Home Office Minister is a real hard nut, so everything's going to be okay. But all we have are slogans that are a laugh, policies that no one voted for, and what are clearly attacks manufactured within the party. This is like university politics. Last year I asked, why is it that Keir Starmer is having leaks against him? And the leaks continued about every aspect of his spending and lifestyle, but none of them quite stopped. None of the stories that are on the internet ever made it to the mainstream media. So then they moved on to Angela Rayner, and she was the subject of the attacks, which could be taken to suggest that she was believed to be the source of some of the first leaks. Then they came back. Then it's against Angela. Then it's against different scandals within the government. And now they're briefing against one of their own ministers that he's planning to dethrone Keir Starmer. And they've done it with a degree of ineptitude which can be expected from this government. Unless Keir can have the reboot he dreamed of earlier this year, then he is the first lame duck Prime Minister in British history to have a resounding majority. What a failure. They say that all political careers end in failure. Well, this government hasn't even started to finish yet. And it seems to me they've failed from day one. And they haven't got an excuse like Brexit shook things up a lot and we couldn't get anything done because we were debating it, or the COVID pandemic. They just don't have what it takes to run a country. And I'm not suggesting the Conservatives are any better. They were a shower for most of the 14 years. But it shows you how lucky Tony Blair was to have the support of the Lord of Darkness. Maybe that's why, when the concerns about Mandelson crossed Keir's desk, he chose not to read them for a few months. Because Keir does have a history of things not crossing his desk, but we know that crossed his desk. I would love some stability and sense to settle in this government so that we can actually address some of the key challenges facing this country. But really, I see no progress. After more than a year, I see an inept government spending more time backbiting and attacking each other and trying to fight off the next scandal than actually addressing or even admitting to the challenges we face. And whilst it's quite unclear what the real process for getting rid of a Labour PM is, and it's unrealistic to expect Labour MPs to be turkeys voting for Christmas to ask for a general election, it seems inconceivable that Keir Starmer can survive the elections next May. Unless he can cancel them again. That was a masterstroke, cancelling the elections so that people don't really get to see how unpopular he is. Problem with political masterstrokes is you can normally only pull them once. So either Keir needs to completely replace his Downing Street machine and a lot of his cabinet, or he needs to do something that will sell his memoirs next year. Wes Streeting may or may not have been plotting against him, but this affair has not really injured Wes Streeting. It's injured Keir. Friendly fire or accidental discharge? Can't be sure yet. I do wonder at the timing that the day that Wes Streeting is pleading his innocence of plotting against Keir is the day that the redundancies in the NHS, which have been planned for a good 6 months, have suddenly been unveiled to the public. An opportunity to take the sheen off his reputation, maybe.